friends, welcome back to
Wish You Love Podcast.
I'm Jazmine.
And I'm Marilyn.
And thank you so much for tuning in on another episode. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We encourage you to check our other episodes that we've posted. And if you're not new here, again, thank you so much. Gratitude is so important, and just know that we're always super grateful.
Yes, and happy May. We're in the month of May. So many amazing things to come now that we're done with April. And we just want to say happy May. We are so excited to start this episode and start maybe your morning with you guys.
And before we jump to it, I just want to put a little plug. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Wish You Love Pod. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We post quite often. So join in the fun. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe on our YouTube, all of the above.
Yes, please stay involved, message us if you want to be, shouted out in our episodes. We would love to tell your story or answer a question.
Yeah. And with that, we'll jump to it.
Yay.
So for today's icebreaker question, for those of you that have been listening to our podcast and have been watching our Instagram, Marilyn has gotten back from her trip.
Yay.
So that was last month during her Walt Disney trip. I'm sure she'll share some more photos.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be fun to do like a rapid fire question.
Yes.
Disney edition, spring break. So.
And also I'm wearing one of my Walt Disney World merch. It's so cute. It was, it has like on the back, like really big, it says Walt Disney World. I just want to say that if you're not listening or watching on YouTube, I'm wearing it today.
And she had a good time, and I'm sure you'll talk more really about it.
Yes, have all the advice, all the stories.
So comment if you need if you have any questions if you're visiting Walt Disney World anytime soon.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so for the rapid fire questions, this is Marilyn's vacation Disney edition. What was your favorite ride?
Ooh. Oh, it was the Avatar Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
I just want to say that ride, I wish we had that here because I don't know if you guys have seen Avatar, but those like flying things. Well, if you've seen it, I'm not like a huge Avatar fan, so I don't know the names of the animals, but pretty much the ride, you're riding the animal and it literally feels like you're in Pandora and you're in that beautiful land. So that's why I loved it, because it felt so real. Even when you like went through like a waterfall, it splashed like water in your face, and not too much. It was like exactly like a waterfall. So it was really, really cool.
Those are the blue character.
Yeah, the blue character. Avatar, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
That's not the one where you posted where you were on the...
No, that was Tron.
Okay.
I couldn't... You don't post the Avatar because like...
There's no photos.
Yeah, you can't... You wouldn't even want to. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite park?
Epcot, which is so surprising because Magic Kingdom was so beautiful and the castle was so big. Like, it was breathtaking, Magic Kingdom. But I think overall, as a park, like if I could go to one park again, like if I can only choose one, it would be Epcot. It was so amazing. Yeah.
I had mentioned to you previously, the only thing I've heard of Epcot is all the food and the tour and the drinking around the world.
Yeah, so that is like the main thing is like, you can drink beer in Germany, you can have tequila in Mexico, you can drink or eat. I ate around the world, but it's like not only that, but it was like you're going to a whole new country like within every mile. Like, it was amazing. And even the people that work there are from that country. Like, not even like me, where like my family's from Bolivia. Like, they were like literally like Mexico. Like, they were born there.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's so when we went to Norway, they're like speaking their language to each other, and they're from Norway. Like, you know how they have the little badge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it felt like you were actually in a different country.
Yeah.
Each country. And then not only that, but the rides were amazing. So I think Epcot for sure.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You're like literally making me want to go.
You need to go. You need to go.
For our friends listening, I've been to Walt Disney World, but I was like 5 or 6. I was telling Marilyn, I only remember a water park and the like the animals in Animal Kingdom.
I was telling her, I was like, I would love to travel, with Jazmine, just because like we had said on the podcast that our boyfriends, are as well friends, and we're friends with each other's boyfriends. So I think we'd be the perfect like travel buddies, because we also like respect each other. We're like, if she was like, no, I need to go back to the room, like I'm exhausted, like we're not going to be like, oh, you suck, like you know what I mean, like there's friends like that like that will put you down. You're like, nah, it's okay, like go do your thing,
Yeah, no, we definitely have to do that, and that's definitely going to be on our bucket list,
yeah,
for sometime soon.
Yeah.
Okay, what you were talking about food, so this is the next one. What was your favorite food that you ate throughout your whole trip?
I know. Okay, so it was at Epcot. Like, I wish I could have it right now. It was school bread. That's what it's called. It was a pastry from Denmark, and it was in front of like the Frozen ride, which was amazing, by the way. But yeah, it was like this little bread, and it had like a custard filling and coconut shavings on top, and it was a bread, and it was so good. Yeah, that was my favorite.
Okay. I think did you post it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, I was like in front of like this red house type of thing. Yeah, it was so good.
Okay. Favorite drink?
Now that I think about it, I don't think I had many drinks. I think I just had my water. Because
She's a healthy queen. Sticking to my water.
Sticking to my water. No, yeah, because like I didn't stay with my calorie deficit while I was at Walt Disney World, but I was hyper aware of calories. So I was like, I'd rather have the school bread than have an alcoholic drink. So that's why I ate around the world instead of drink. So I think the only drink I had was at the Be Our Guest, I had like lemonade. And then at the hotel, I had hot cocoa.
Between those two?
I think hot cocoa. Yeah, okay. I love hot cocoa. I could have it literally right now.
Okay, last two.
Okay.
Favorite outfit?
Ooh.
Between all the outfits.
Yeah.
So you guys, it was so much fun because I would see Marilyn post a different outfit every single day. And it was themed, of course.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which one?
Dang. Ooh, that's so hard. It's hard because my first 2 outfits were my favorite. I had like this floral dress with the castle, like a castle belt on for the first day at Magic Kingdom. It's crazy because Anthony, he would tell you, I probably got 1,000 compliments. Like, kid you not. Like, when I was people were very nice in Florida. When I was walking, there wasn't a moment where somebody had to stop me to tell me something. Even this little girl, like, she was saying that I look like a princess. And even this mom in Animal Kingdom, she had stopped me and she's like, I'm so sorry, you look like a real princess. And I was like, people were so nice. So my outfits definitely hit because if I was like dressing like how I dressed right now, like I would not have gotten all those compliments. So I definitely suggest like planning out your outfits. But to answer the question, I think maybe my Epcot outfit, I did like a white and baby blue, like Remy blue flowers, and I had the Ratatouille ears on. So it was supposed to be Ratatouille themed because of the blue. It's the same color as the rat Remy, and so that's what I was going for. I really think that outfit, I really love my pictures, but it's hard. But I'll go with that one.
With that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll have to share it.
Long answer for that one question, so sorry.
All right, and then last one. I'm sure it was all a blast. I'm sure this is going to be a hard one for you. But what was your best moment? Like one moment out of the whole trip that you could be like,
I haven't.
This is it. You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really just, I was in Epcot and I had this moment twice when I was in Walt Disney World, but I was in France and I was sitting down with Anthony and I was just telling him, I was like, I am so happy right now. And I was telling him that I'm so, because we turned 6 years that Friday. And I was telling him that my heart just felt so complete being there with him, especially. And I love that it was just us two as well, because it just meant so much, because we had met at Disney, and the fact that it's 6 years later and we're at Walt Disney World, and, you know, this was a trip for my master's. So it was a lot of celebratory feelings. And so that was a moment, I think, when I was just really in the present, and I was really just soaking in being there and being so grateful that moment stands out to me, of just like, wow, like I'm here, and I was so happy and just at peace. That's really what I felt like.
I love that. I just literally thought about our podcast episode where we discussed about living in the moment.
Yeah,
and
I really felt that.
How beautiful that you were able to live there and appreciate that moment.
In the moment, yeah, exactly. And it's so crazy how that is so hard to do now. But yeah, I really felt it. I'm like, wow, I feel so grateful that I'm just here, you know. And we went on so many rides, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for the questions.
I know. I hope you guys had, enjoyed listening to these questions, because we like to celebrate the little things in our lives. And I know that was a fun, memorable moment. Yeah. So I was like, why not bring it to the pod and have you share, so that you guys who are listening can feel more connected with us. And Marilyn, I hope you can share more on Instagram.
Yeah,
maybe we can do a little post.
I had made a video. I'll show it to you later, and we could post that video on our Instagram. I just did like a little video of, just little clips from my trip. I have so many pictures, and so I'm trying to post something every single day, because they just have so much. Like, I want to do a video of the Be Our Guest experience with like, the Beauty and the Beast music and stuff. So just a lot of stuff I still need to post. There's so many pictures. We took probably like 5,000 pictures. So I had to narrow it down. Anthony was the best too. He was so patient with me. Like, never did he make me feel bad about asking for a picture. Yeah. And he would take like 50, but I was like, damn, like I didn't need that many. And he's like, what, you don't like it? I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, thank you. Like, I appreciate it. It's better than when people take like one. Yeah. But like, I had so many, because every time I would ask for a picture, it was like 300 in one spot. And I'm like, that was like one face, and it has 50 pictures.
Hey, a good boyfriend. That's a good boyfriend.
It was a good boyfriend moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for, again, answering. Yeah. And if you want, we can jump to it.
Yes. And the next episode, stay tuned for next week. We're going to do a rapid fire question, Disney edition as well. But for Jazmine, we'll talk about Disneyland and just other Disney questions. So stay tuned for next week's episode. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to read the question, and this is a deep question. So it says, what are some words you wish someone told you when you were younger? So words you wish someone told you when you were younger. And Jazmine's going to start us off, but, it's really good to marinate on this journal prompt, because, you remember the things that you struggled with as a child, and we all have different experiences and things that we struggle with as a child, and how that got brought as an adult. So it's interesting to hear what you guys are going to put down and what you're going to say, Jazmine. So take your time, but when you're ready, what are some words that you wish you could hear?
So for me, I know it's such a good question, you guys. It's so funny, because I was in the car yesterday. This is a side note. I was in the car yesterday with my boyfriend's family, and I have this tradition. They all make fun of me, but they love it now, where we do like questions. Because it's especially like long car rides. I'm like, I don't want to just like sleep, or like let's talk. So we'll do like questions. And yesterday it was my boyfriend's brother-in-law. He had mentioned about my pod. Like, he was like, remind me again, like, what's your podcast about? And I was like sharing with him. And anyways, long story short, I was like, oh, like maybe one of the questions can be a question for my podcast. Right? And so I ended up going with like one of our first few episodes. It was like, who's been a teacher in your life? And you guys, the car got silent because they were like, oh, that's a good question. Like, like they were really like marinating and like thinking of their answer. And I was like, you know, if you listen to our podcast, this is what it would be like every week, you know? But anyways, I bring that up because this is another like example of like a good question to marinate on and to really think of your response. But for me, I would say I'm thinking more so where I'm at in life right now and thinking more of my teenage self rather than little Jazmine. But my response would be the words that I wish someone told me earlier or sooner or that I comprehend, I would, understand is living comfortably rather than like too much. And the way I'm explaining this is, or the way I should explain this, because I know that doesn't make sense maybe, but to live comfortably, meaning only buying the necessities that you need, not necessarily always getting the brand new iPhone just because everyone's getting the brand new iPhone or because it's new, or buying, Vans because right now everyone in middle school or high school is wearing like those exact same pairs. Like I now am like starting to understand that, and I just wish I would have learned it earlier because it just truly like living comfortably and living so simple would really save you so much more money in terms of the things. Sometimes I was even talking to my boyfriend's sister yesterday, like we buy so much makeup and like it ends up going to waste because you're not going to use all those eyeshadow palettes. Chances are you're not going to use all those lipsticks. If you just had the standard 3 lipsticks and, 2 eyeshadow palettes, like you would be able to use it and enjoy it more than if you were to have like the 15 that you bought when you were, or that you have right now, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's what my answer would be for this. Just living a comfortable life. You guys have heard on the pod that I am onto the next journey in terms of wanting to move out and get married and live that next chapter of my life. And that's something I've thought about. I've told Angel, like, we have to try our best to just focus on the necessities first. Like we just want to get like a couch, a bed, and those stuff. And then once we start slowly bringing things in, I was mentioning, I'm like, wherever we end up buying or whatever our like future lands, we got to make sure that if our clothes does not fit in that closet, then we got to like get rid of it. Like only the necessities that we're going to fit in that closet, or the shoe rack. If it only has 8 spots, then you got to figure out what are those top 8. But yeah. So yeah, living comfortably rather than focusing, and then again, going back to like my younger self, and for any of our listeners who are young, maybe in like middle school or high school, I think it's so easy to get caught up in buying what's trending or showing off, right? Like that you have 10 pairs of shoes, right? Or I don't know, all these makeup palettes. But really just understanding that living comfortably and only buying what you need is truly a lot more fulfilling than having excessive amounts of things.
That is a really good piece of advice, especially if, this is to your younger self. I'm assuming this is like your high school self or middle school? Both? Okay, yeah. Because I think like definitely like kids really do care about name brands and, who has the best this, who has the best that. And I really don't care about name brands. If I think it's cute, it's cute. One perfect example of like a kid judging me, and it's one of my family members. My grandma and I go to Marshall's quite often, and so she had bought me these Steve Madden shoes, and they were black and white. And she was like, "These are really good. Like, you should get them. I'll buy them for you." And I tried them on, and I do like them. I actually, if you see my Walt Disney World pictures, I have them in some of the pictures. But they kind of they're Steve Madden, but they're not. They look like the pandas of the Nike brand, and I have Nikes. I like Nike, but I never thought the pandas were cute. These look a little different. They're a little more like puffy and a little chubbier, but yeah. And then somebody was like, what are those? I'm like, oh, these are my Steve Madden shoes. And they're like, bro, these look like knockoff. Like, they're like laughing at me. And I was like, well, my grandma got them. They were like, bro, that's even worse. Your grandma got it for you. I'm like, dang. So it's like, I'm at an age where I don't really care, even though I was like, damn, like he's really roasting me right now. But I can see why, as a child, like if somebody were to tell you that at school, you'd feel like so defeated. You feel like broke, like, and it's like, I think that's great advice. Don't care what other people say. If you think it's cute, it's cute. Like, be a trendsetter, be different. Like, just because, you know, everybody has pandas doesn't mean that you should, especially if you don't like it. You know, get what you want, get what you can afford. Like, don't break your bank trying to fit in. Like, that's just not cool. Like, you don't see me with Louis Vuittons because I can't afford Louis Vuittons. Like, that's just the realness of it. Like, I'm not going to flaunt just because you know, it looks cool. It's like, I'm at Kate Spade budget, like, and that's fine. Like, who gives a crap? Like, it's cute, it's pink, I'ma buy it. Like, what? And it's like, people always, like, to this day, as adults, they just care so much what people think, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, I guess that kind of also ties in, like, not caring what people think.
Yeah.
When in terms of like living more simple and comfortably. Yeah, like if you have three, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of like all ages, right? How to like incorporate it. But yeah, I mean, overall, like if your mom bought you like white Converse,
right,
or a different color Converse, right? Maybe they're like a bright yellow, and you love them, and your mom bought them for you, and you love them, and someone comes and says like, "Oh, like that's not in style right now," or like that's not trending. Like, just tell them like, "Thank you, next." You know, like if those are the style of shoes that you like, and those are, you know, what you're able to purchase at the time, and your mom got them for you, like you rock them, and don't worry about like anyone else's opinion.
Yeah, because I mean, are you gonna buy me those new Converse, like the platform ones? Like, because if you are like, okay, thank you, like you can say something because you're gonna like buy it for me. They're not going to buy it for you. It's like, if you're not paying my bills, like why are you talking? Like, don't say anything. Like, first of all, I feel like kids, especially, but adults too, like always have something to say. Like, worry about yourself. Like, you really projecting right now. Like, but like when we're kids, like we're not thinking like that. Like as adults, we can see the bigger picture and we can see through the insecurity. But when you're like at that age, it's like, you don't think like that.
Yeah.
But we're telling you to think like that.
For sure. For anyone who's more in like the young adult era, you know, maybe in college or after college, I encourage you also to maybe take this piece of advice that I wish I got younger in terms of just living comfortably, right? We do not need 400 bags. Like, we are not going to use all 400 bags. Like, stick to like your 3 top bags that might fit with and go with everything. Right. Do you really need all these Stanleys? Like, you know, like you...
Oh, God.
Let's, you know, again, what I wish I was told and what maybe we can do so moving forward, and what I'm really trying to do moving forward is just live simple and comfortably. A comfortable life is way more better than just always buying the name brands and the next
it's like over consuming.
Yeah.
So. That's so normalized. And you're right. When she said the palettes thing, I have so many makeup palettes. Like, I don't need anymore at all. And it was just because, you know, ColourPop kept coming out with amazing, cute themed palettes. And I was like, I need that. And I really felt like I needed it. And, you know, I feel like quite a few I could have just done without, but I'm like, it's Powerpuff Girls. Like, I love Powerpuff Girls. Like, I have to get it. It's just like getting intertwined with, you know, they sold the product like well, you know. And but yeah, the good advice, I think a lot of people need to hear that and be reminded. And I feel like you reminded me that I need to declutter because I have so many shirts. Like I can't even close my drawers anymore, and I have a walk-in closet. So, and the drawers are not in the closet, it's a different room. And I was looking for an Ice Cube shirt yesterday, and I have like 15 of them. I have a lot of them. And I was realizing like, wow, I haven't seen this shirt in forever. And I'm like, you know, refolding it, but I'm like, dang, I need to throw out a lot of stuff. And yeah, because I just have too much.
Yeah. It's hard, but we could try. Yeah. And we could do our best. Just little steps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to reread the question. So what are some words you wish someone told you when you were younger? So mine is, of course, different. I feel like I always say that. I'm like, mine's different, but yeah. So I think mine is kind of 2 words. So I would definitely tell my younger self, and I can see this being at 5 years old. I can see this being at 10 years old, 15. Like last year. I can definitely see myself. I wish I knew this, and it is that you are enough and it's not your fault. I think a lot, I mean, literally up until we started this podcast, I didn't think that I was enough. And I thought that I had to keep doing things to win the love of people, my parents, my grandparents. Like, I was like, after my master's, then they'll be proud of me, or then they'll love me, or then I'm done. I'm done sacrificing my time. And I realized that it wasn't enough. And I had to learn to be enough for me. And so that's why I would say that to myself. I would say, you are enough, and really try to explain how you're enough. You're enough through not by your actions, like not the things that you do. Just because you have like a high paying corporate job doesn't make your worth. You know, your worth is your soul, how you are as a person, like a good person, you know, a good friend, a good, you know, that is where your worth relies. It doesn't rely within these materialistic things or the achievements that you've done. Like, those are all amazing things, but that doesn't make your worth. And so I found myself constantly trying to up myself. Like, I wasn't in competition with anybody. It was a competition with myself, but it was because I was trying to be enough, like loved, you know? And it was really, really hard when I realized after my master's, because at that point it was 7 years of higher education, and I realized that it wasn't enough. And I was like, that broke me, because I'm like, damn, like I thought I would feel this release after it was done, but it was like, it wasn't. It was like I still wasn't enough. And so that's when I realized, I'm like, nah, you need to do some internal work. And no matter what you do, you know, and I'm still always, you know, trying to be the best, and I still struggle with perfectionism, but I do grasp that I am enough, and it's not because of anything that I've done, you know. So that's my first one. You are enough. And then the other one, it's not your fault. I think a lot of, you know, people who come from broken homes, you know, feel like it's their fault. You know, you can fall into the pit of like, my parents, and I'm gonna say parents to generalize it, but like, it's my fault that they're not living the life that they could have lived because I was born. It's my fault that, and this is just some example, this isn't like my family, but like, it's my fault that my parents aren't together. And like I said, disclaimer, that's not my situation, but I know that that might be something one of you guys feel. Like, it's my fault that, you know, my dad's depressed, or like, it's my fault, you know, because I think so many times when you just come from a broken home, you feel like it's your fault. And I felt like it was my fault for so long. And it's not your fault. You got put into this situation, you got put into this life for a purpose. And, that's when I started to find God and that He loves me and stuff like that. But when you're younger, I just really felt like I was put here on this earth to make everybody else happy. And, it's my fault for the life circumstances that the adults are facing. And that's not true. It's not your fault. And, so that's what I would say. It's not your fault and you are enough.
I love your responses. And I say this after every
response.
But I absolutely love that we always have different, sometimes similar, but answers.
Yeah. Different life experiences.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I would be so intrigued I am so intrigued, I should say, to know like our viewers' responses, because I'm sure they might be different too.
Yeah.
And I just think that's the beauty of like our questions, how deep and how they can vary depending on our life experiences. You touched a lot of things that I was thinking about as like younger Jazmine, like middle school, elementary school Jazmine, versus my response was more so like college Jazmine, like maybe even like high school Jazmine. So I love it. And I think the words of "you are enough" can really resonate to a lot of people, all age groups, because it's still something that continues to stick with you sometimes if you don't heal and understand that on your own. But I think that's, very beautiful. I also really enjoy listening it's not your fault, because it's true. Sometimes, especially as kids, like we deal with our parents' behaviors, and it sucks, right? Because it's like if they come in from work already like in a crabby mood, like angry, like you automatically know like, oh shit, it's coming to me now. Like you're dealing with that energy, you're dealing with that. And then sometimes like you think it's your fault. And it could be like the simplest thing, like maybe you left your glass on the table, your water glass on the table. And because they're already in a bad mood, they're going to automatically take it on you. And then you're going to feel like it's your fault. And so, I think I love that piece of it, that word and how you explained it, because it's true. I think with that, I tie in like understanding. And I think it's hard when you're young, but if you're listening to this podcast, I hope you can, take an understanding of this. Everyone's decisions and behaviors are your own choice, like their own choice. If your parent comes home after having a bad day at work and they're still bringing that energy and everything, it's not your fault. It's their decision and their choice to bring that back home with them. Because after they finish work, it should just be on the drive home, should be a time to just be like, okay, I'm heading back home now. Like, let me not continue to bring this emotion and this energy and this anger to people that are at home. Like, let me switch it up. So really think like that. I think even like thinking of like middle school and high school, where you deal with bullies sometimes, right? Who behave like that to you. Like that is not your fault that they're being like that. That is their own insecurities and their own behaviors. And it's not your fault that they decide to do that. Right. Like, so that's how I like want to like piggyback off of your answer.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. When you were talking, I just wanted to do like a disclaimer too, just because, people get their feelings hurt when you're being very honest. And I just want to say I have so much gratitude for my parents. And I think that they did the best that they absolutely could, because they had me so young. Like, I think at my age, I'm 26 now. Oh my God, I would have had an 8-year-old. Like, that's how young they had me. So I just wanted to do that disclaimer that I have so much gratitude to my parents. And I think that they did the best that they could. I have so many good memories from my childhood, but this is still my experience. That's still what I remember feeling like I was gonna say when I was little, but like literally, like I said, up until last year. So it's just, you know, parents, we're gonna make our own mistakes as parents, like Jazmine and I. You know, we're gonna, you know, make our mistakes, and our kids are gonna deal with different stuff. Not trauma, okay? But like they're gonna deal with their own different stuff, like, oh, my mom expects so much out of me. Like it's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Like every kid deals with something because no one is perfect. Everybody has their own baggage. Everyone has their own life experiences. And then they bring that on as an adult. And, you know, some people have better childhoods than others, which is so true. But, you know, it's important to reflect and remember how you felt as a child so you don't inflict those same things on your children. And so that's why it's super important to remember what are some words that you needed to hear as a child. Because maybe if you do have a child now, make sure you say those words to them. Like maybe have a conversation with your daughter, with your son, or whatever. And yeah, so I love this question, and I love how you responded too, because it is for sure 1,000% a struggle that a lot of people face, overconsumption and caring about what other people think.
And I think also like practicing, like life is a journey.
Yeah.
Everything that you learn and everything that you reflect on, practice it.
Yeah.
Like Marilyn said, I love how you mentioned that you are enough stood with you up until last year.
Yeah.
And you don't have kids yet, but you're practicing how to heal that first
now,
so that when you do have your kids, you're like healed enough to project that now to them.
Yeah.
And like not make it continue
For sure.
on. And
1,000%.
Yeah. So it's like really practicing, like, yes, thinking about it, practicing it with your own children as well. But I had a conversation with a mom yesterday, and she mentioned to me, she said, words to children, words, like they do mean something, but it's more so your actions. Your actions first, right? So even if you go tell your daughter or your son, like, you are enough, but you are not like showing that, like you, like they can see you, like how you're feeling, or they hear conversations where you're like, not, you know, you don't feel enough. They're not going to feel enough because your words will truly mean nothing because you're not setting that example of I'm enough, you're enough, like, you know, here we are. So I think that too, like learning to practice it.
Oh my God, you just spoke freaking volumes right now. Like that shit resonated so hard with me. Oh my God. Like that is so true. Like for a perfect example, like let's say a relationship, if you keep telling somebody like, I love you, I love you, I love you, but then you're like abusive to them, you actually cheat on them, like you're not showing that you love them. And it's like, how am I supposed to believe you? You know, that is so true. It can't just be you are enough. You need to make them feel enough, you know? And just a perfect example of that, like my dad, he is just, I think at my bachelor's, he was just like, I had done everything he wanted me to do. Like he was proud of me, and I felt that. Like I felt like he was like, nah, like this is it. Like that's enough. Like you don't have to do anything else. And so I felt that he was like, no, you are enough. Like you've done all the work. And like I said, like I still had to do work to feel that. But like you feel it when people treat you and say certain things and they back it up with actions. Like you feel that. Like, and I felt that with my dad. Like to a certain point where I would still try to, you know, do amazing things and like tell him like, hey dad, like I'm doing research on this, that. He's like, okay, cool. Like it was like, it wasn't like it didn't matter to him. Yeah, it didn't matter.
You need to do it. Yeah.
No, yeah. Like you need to get that published. Like you need to, even when I told him like I was going to do a doctorate, he's like, cool, if that's what you want to do. I was like, what?
It's on your...
Yeah, it's on me now. Like, yeah, because he's like, I'm not asking you to do that. Like you know, so that was like, but that was so unvalidating for me. Like I was craving it at that point in my life. Like I was just like, it was like a high, like making my parents like happy or proud of me. And so when he said that, I was like, oh.
So do I want it?
Wait, hold up. I don't want it. Wait, like, do you want it? Like, that's the real kicker here. Yeah. And it's interesting because I totally could do a doctorate. I totally could. Everyone tells me that. Literally, people like at work, they tell me, they're like, you should do a doctorate. Like, you can do it. Like, my old professor would tell me that. Like, I know I have it within me to do that, and like that would be so amazing. But I think because I had been dealing with that for so long as a child, trying to be enough, I was like, I don't even want to do that. It's like, I kind of want to do like a FU, like to like that problem that I face, like of trying to make people proud of me, and kind of like, nah, like it stops here. I'm not doing it anymore. Especially because after the master's, then I realized like nobody actually cares. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
All that for what? All that work. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not all for nothing. It's amazing, but all jokes, but low key true.
Well, this is a good episode.
Yeah.
Really good advices or pieces of advice, healing, experiences that we maybe are going through or have gone through.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys enjoyed
Love
this episode. I know.
I loved it. I'm hold this one close to my heart for sure.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. And above all else,
we wish you love. Bye, friends.